Oh my god, and it's gigantic.
Alright, don't be scared. Do I look nuts? Fuck it. Hey everybody, so I told you tonight was going to be a little different. I actually was going to ask questions instead of just rambling about my fucking depression and like suicidal tendencies. Everybody knows Watson. If you don't, that's Watson. Okay. Who are you?
Watson.
There we go. End the interview. Anyway, I told you before there was something that I thought that, okay, I was raised around criminals. They all did like nickel and dime bids in like jail and like state prison and shit. I have never done that. So it's just all secondhand information for me. And them dudes don't really like walk you through it. They're not really very explanatory. They tell you about how they sold cigarettes or like fought people. I kind of wanted to try to get a little bit more into it and give everybody more of a perspective, because some of the stuff I was hearing, like, I'd never even heard it, you know what I mean? And I'm way more acquainted with this kind of world than probably most of you guys. So, you go to jail for whatever reason. You can talk about it or not. It's not really relevant. It's not terrible either. But you go to Bradford County. Tell me, you get sentenced, you get state time. Tell me what, they wake you up 5 in the morning?
Oh yeah, there's multiple count times per day where you will stand for count to prove you're alive.
Well, I mean, like, say, okay, you realize you're not going to be doing a county bid this time. You're waiting to get, what, picked up in a van?
It depends. I went down in the back of an SUV with 2 other people, and I've also went in the dog kennel where they lined up.
Okay, that thing they built. Okay, yeah, with the separator thing. Okay. Any time of day, just whenever it arrives?
No, they take you first thing in the morning.
Now, is it like, when they take you to court and they put you in that concrete cell, usually either alone or with other people going to court, and they give you eggs and hot sauce and it's disgusting?
Yeah.
Is it like that?
You mean before you leave the county?
Yeah, like when they get you in the morning, do they stick you in the box for a bit?
You eat.
You eat.
We ate in the Sally Port.
Now, are you bringing your stuff?
You're bringing almost nothing.
Because you're not allowed.
Right.
Oh shit. So all the stuff you might have accumulated in county doesn't transfer over.
You send it out, we take it downstate and ask if you want to burn it or pay to send it home.
So no thermals or nothing you can't bring in. I'll do it again. Money.
Double it.
Double it. Holy shit. Okay. And where did you go? They drive you to from county. Where did you go?
I've had multiple trips. So pre-COVID was Camp Hill.
Okay, yeah, that's where people go I'm from.
I went to Smithfield.
Okay, so Camp Hill, that's where I've heard a lot about. Like, up here you guys go downstate. Where I'm from, we go upstate. But a lot of times, I guess you go to that same spot. What would you define Camp Hill as? It's like it's like a hub almost. You know what I mean? Like a sorter, if you will.
It's a classification zone. You can be home. It could be your home prison, just like Smithfield could be as a new hub. But yeah, you go through the intake process. You see. Same thing you do in the county, only it's more extensive. And they actually have you take a test, which, if I remember right, it took like a damn hour or something to ask you the same type of questions a couple different ways to see if you're like retarded or psychotic or.
Just to find out where they're putting you in the prison.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that Camp Hill could be your home jail. So you could do your whole state time in Camp Hill?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Huh.
I guess I don't know that for a fact, but there's blues. There used to be blues and browns. I'm assuming the process is still the same. But blues is for classification, and then once you reach home status, you get browns.
And is it, so okay, again, I've only been to county jails. Like, our county jail back home is way crazier and looking and big than Bradford County is. But I've never rolled up to Camp Hill. You know what I mean? Like, is it like when Andrew Dufresne comes in to Shawshank and it's like imposing stone? Like, could you paint me a picture? Could you paint us a little picture?
It's definitely a large stone wall. around the outside when you're rolling up.
So it's imposing.
I mean, yeah, if you've only ever been to the county, it absolutely was
Mhm.
the first time I went. Smithfield, not so much. I remember in transit one time I was on my way to Forest for my second prison bid. My new home jail was Forest, but we stopped at, I can't remember, whatever Pennsylvania's boot camp jail is. There's no fence.
Okay, so now how long is this ride, would you say? An hour? A couple hours?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple hours. You arrive. You arrive in Camp Hill. You go through classification. They're taking tests. It's more extensive than the county. A lot more people, I'm assuming, all around. Okay. What is the first cell they put you in?
You go to our block. Well,
Not like intake where you're waiting to take your tests. I mean, where you're going to be staying there for a little bit of time. Like you're going to sleep there that night.
yeah, you get, after in processing, you get marched to our block. If you're not a PV, a parole violator, then you break off on the march and go to a different building. But if you're going there for your first time, you go to our block.
Singled up or doubled up?
Double it.
Double it.
First cellmate was a murderer.
First cellmate was okay. Here, well, okay. Well, let's hear about that. What was he and he murdered who? You don't have to give a name.
I don't remember good. I remember there was a girl involved, and it was more along the lines of, he wasn't like a cold-blooded killer per se. But
Oh, crime of passion.
He was there for murder.
Crime of passion. I can relate. No, I'm kidding. And how did you know that? They told you that before you go in? Or he tells you, like, yo, I'm a murderer.
I mean, it didn't come out like that, but when you're stuck in a room with somebody,
It comes up.
Yeah.
And eventually you're stuck in a cell. So what is what are we talking about, 23 plus? When you're first there, like in? Like 23 and some change, you get the 10 minutes out or whatever? Is that the dude you were talking about, like, and they popped our cell and we didn't even...
Yeah, the first day that we were allowed to shower, which was the day after we showed up, because we shower on the way in, they popped the door and said showers, and by the time the door popped all the way open automatically, it was already closing automatically too. So we just looked at each other with our mouths open like, did that just happen?
So, more than 23 hours in.
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't know this. You don't know this dude.
That is correct.
And he's just like, your guys. There's nothing. You guys have nothing yet. You know what I mean? You have no cards. You have no fucking nothing yet. You're just in class. Yeah, I mean, so you're just looking at each other or sleeping
Or talking.
or talking. Oh, I figured that was part of the looking. Lest that be so weird.
Or eating.
3. Okay, yeah, you get your 3 meals. What's that like? Better than count? Tell me a tray. Tell me a classification tray. Beans, a little gruel.
I know that all the intake isn't done the first day, and like that test that takes a little time, you will leave your cell and go to take the test, and then when you come back, your lunch is thrown on your bed in a bag, and you get like a sandwich and apple and shit.
Oh, so like a bologna sandwich.
Peanut butter probably, because you're not
Good enough for bologna yet.
Yeah, that's like room temperature by the time you get back. It's gotta be peanut butter.
I don't even like bologna, but that's one of my favorite things. Like if they ever take me to jail or something, I'm just sitting there like, where's my fucking brown bag? My bologna sandwich, my carton of fucking milk and an orange. And
The county that we're in right now, they sold out, and they have a company that does all their meals. So there's none of that nonsense anymore. Back in the day, you get like a cheese sandwich. Or like,
oh, yeah. Or a bologna sandwich.
Yeah, but
That's
no
what I
cheese.
got. No cheese.
But nowadays, there's none of that.
Yo, when I left Bradford County for the last time, which was a long fucking time ago, it's actually where we met, they had some good ass food. Like, not good, but they had the taco
People still
bake.
talk about it.
Oh, they still, okay.
Everybody still talks about
So
it.
it's
This food service is so...
Bad in comparison. Come on, Depp, what the fuck you doing?
Depp's not Depp anymore.
Yeah, he's the warden. Cotrini's the warden.
Remember Harrison?
Sergeant Harrison.
Is the Depp.
Really?
Yep.
He wasn't a bad guy. That was the dude that was kind of like bigger. He was like an ex-Marine or SEAL or some shit, or
I'm
we
not sure,
it.
but yeah, that seems about right.
He was the guy that let me go to work release, and he's like, listen, because when I asked him, he laughed in my face. Because I had so many whole times and whatnot at that time, but everybody was gone. The only person left was Wise on the block, and I'm like, Trevor's up there, everybody's up there, I'm going up there. And he told me to be good for 30 days straight with no like violations, and I could go, and then I did, and that was fucking terrible. Don't go there. Bradford County sucks. You were just in Bradford County, but you were on work release, and you were just, I heard you talking to, who were you just talking to? You were like, I didn't see a thing of grass. Scott. That's what sucks about there is like you get work release, and that's supposed to be better, and then you don't even get no yard. You can't even see the sky.
I mean, I was on kitchen staff for a while, and they did have yard, but it was at like 10:30 at night. And
Just sit out there in the darkness, walk around in a circle.
Yeah, with a cage over your head and
Yeah.
4 concrete walls. I was getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, going and making all the meals for the day. So 10:30, 11 o'clock yard, I'm not really interested in that.
See, I was on work release, and I started in the kitchen, but I had been telling these people I had a fucking broken like wrist for like 2 months. And it just so happened that the day I got in work release, they took me to go get an x-ray finally, and they were like, oh, you have a broken wrist, and they put me in a cast. And so I couldn't work in the kitchen, and they were going to send me back to the thing, and I'm like, whoa, I did my 30 days, I was good to earn getting up here. I'm like, it ain't my fucking fault y'all didn't fix this 2 months ago when I told you about it, so they let me stay. But I had a point. Oh yeah, I used to I dug all the stuff out of the cast so I could take it off, and I wasn't supposed to, but it was so itchy and I hated it. And they used to let me go up to the kitchen because I didn't even have to have a job. And I'm like, but all the people with the job get access to the fucking kitchen and they get a little snack. I don't get a snack. And they used to fucking bring me down at 10 something, like right before you'd like get back from like ProCare or something. Edit that out. I don't have to do that. I don't have to edit ProCare out. No, it doesn't even exist anymore.
Well, I don't know that for a fact, but the one in Athens definitely doesn't.
Oh, it was more than one.
Oh yeah, Athens was the flagship. There was 7 or 9 or something.
Do you guys remember ProCare? It used to be in that like little shopping center in Athens, like
where the old Seals building was, I believe.
Okay, so you're in with the murderer. You guys are looking at each other. You're talking to each other. How long do you have to be in that before they kick you out? Like a week?
Yeah, 7 to 10.
Now, do you leave from there to go to a jail if you're going to a jail?
No, you are still in the classification process for whatever reason. That takes a significant amount of time. I went to I block, I believe, which every block there is, that I am aware of is divided into 2 sides. There's an old side and a new side, not to the blocks, but to the actual prison. And I was on the new side, so I can't really comment too much on the old side, but I heard that the mice and the cockroaches would fight over who was getting your commissary.
The infrastructure of it was old, the old part. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I was on the new side, and there were like cookie cutters. The building that I lived in, actually, when I got to my home prison that time, it looked like they took it, cleaned it, stuck it right at the other prison. They literally.
Oh, so it's a model for it. Okay.
So I was housed on, I think it was IA. Well, it was either IA or IV. I'll tell you that it was I. But yeah, there's if I remember right, 64 cells. So there's 128 people on the block. And
Well, paint me okay. I remember when I first walked into Delaware County Prison back home. I'm literally 2 days after I'm 18. And cops framed me, busted my fucking eye all up. My eye, the whites were all filled with blood and shit. I ended up getting out when I got in front of a judge eventually, for real. But anyway, I walk in, and I mean, where I'm from, it's pretty dark there. I mean, that's all. Like the population is pretty dark, and they weren't really doing like none of. they fight and everything, but the shit they were saying, like, there's not like really rapes or nothing, but they're screaming at you because I'm like a small white dude, 2 days over 18, walking in, and fucking people are banging on the cell. Yeah, I mean, fucking all like fucking we'll f you. Yeah, I mean, like saying vulgar shit. Never happened. Yeah, I mean, like
that's gonna be a Philly thing probably, or like maybe a New York thing, somewhere where it's a little higher populated.
Oh,
you're
okay.
actually getting in there, like the county, we've messed with people like that too, but the county that not built like that. And then
No.
when you go to state, like the trustees actually did the orientation after our block. On our block, the officers did the orientation. They told you there's like intercom in every cell. If you ain't fighting a fucking, don't press the button.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, don't press the button.
Now, are people there being aggressive more so, or just trying to do their time?
Everybody's just trying to do their time. I never had any real issues until I got to my home jail. I almost fought one kid twice, and then another guy after about a year of being there, and then one guy on the job. So I guess it was almost 4 incidents in that. But then I go to a more violent prison after that, and I never had one issue, not even one.
Well, how I say, like, because I have stories from, like, say, my daughter's godfather who talks about, like, I tried to jump in on these fucking weights, these motherfuckers fucking da-da-da-da-da. I said, fuck you, pussy. I mean, I'm fighting fucking 6 dudes. And then he goes on about, because a friend of mine's uncle who's passed away right now was in doing a bit at the same time with him. And, like, nobody did any, like, none of the whites jumped in. And I'm not trying to, like, bring in any type of race. It's just, for me, the first time I walked in, like, when I was talking to you, everybody's banging, da-da-da-da-da. I get put right in a cell, everybody's in lock-in. They bring me in door and lock-in, so everybody's not out. And I go in a cell, it's this Irish white dude, redheaded Irish white dude. And he's cool as shit. He talks to me. As soon as I'm in, like 10 minutes later, the gates pop. And it's time to go out there. He brings me out there. He introduced me to like every white dude that was on that block. It was like maybe 13 of them out of fucking 60 or something. And they all shook my hand, introduced themselves. A couple of them gave me soups. One of the dudes said, yo, you need shower shoes. I mean, because I just got there. I had nothing. And I noticed that some of the other kinds of races did not do the same thing unless they knew you. Like, if the black dude's over there sitting at the table seeing fucking their cousin walk in, or somebody's at the table's cousin walk in, it was a kind of a nice greeting. But they weren't, like, if it was a stranger, that dude was kind of on his own until he linked up or whatever.
It depends on the races, if I'm going to be honest with you. Latinos seem to take care of their people the best. And then after that, the darker population is probably next.
Really?
Yeah, Caucasians are last.
In state they are.
Yeah, in my experiences, yeah.
What happens if you're like Aryan Brotherhood or that? Is that a presence there? I'm figuring gang politics, like you were talking about sectioning off phone by race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm assuming from what I've already heard, witnessed, what you were saying, that plays a prominent role in this system.
I mean, it absolutely is, whether or not you are racist or not.
That's what I mean. Regardless, like it is what it is.
I don't bang or anything, so I just keep to myself until everybody sees how I move and I'm respectful and whatnot. And then next thing you know, everybody's talking to me.
Because you're fucking there and it's jail and you fucking okay.
Even if somebody's racist, they end up talking to me. Because my one neighbor was racist and he wanted to trade some commissary or something, so he had to talk to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, for the most part, a lot of times people would just stay with their clique, and I just stay quiet, listen to music, and lifted. And you know, like I said, after a while, people will talk to me. So unfortunately, I'm not really an extrovert per se. So if somebody would talk to me, I would talk back. Or if somebody wanted to work out, those were the people I got closest to.
I'm envisioning bigger cell blocks, bigger dorms than what I've seen in, say, my home jail back home, which is bigger than Bradford County, but probably smaller than state prisons, I'm imagining. And so I walk in, and it's like fucking jump madhouse.
Are small compared to the stories that I've heard about, like Western and just other bigger prisons with many tiers. I've only ever seen 2 tiers.
I know I heard a lot about the place Dallas.
Yeah.
From like somebody. Cut that. And Cut that shit out. He'll fucking kill me. Fucking crazy. He'll be like, what the? Somehow see it. Get sent it. Listen, fucking. Oh, I turned off the music. How long did you spend in Camp Hill?
I don't remember. It was I was on I was there on Triple RI, which is reduced recidivism rate incentive, aka I lose 25% of my minimum if I'm good.
Good time, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which Pennsylvania didn't have at the time, unless you qualified for the Triple RI.
Okay, craziest instance of violence or just craziness what observed at Camp Hill at all?
Observed?
Or participated in, whatever, none. So Camp Hill, you kind of go through
Guards.
nice and smooth.
Guards were the craziest. When it was time to be done eating, probably one of the most like disrespectful things that I really saw was you're done.
Oh, okay.
Because people were filing in, mainline, the people were coming in.
Coming in, coming out.
Gotta roll,
gotta move
trays,
it. Okay.
Down. So they'd have literally like one row of tables that was empty, and it would stay empty. And then when it was time for you to get up, it was time for you to get up. It wasn't.
So you eat quick.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I still retain that attribute.
Huh. Okay, so Camp Hill, not so bad. And then
In my experience, I'm sure a lot of people had a lot of different experiences there, and just because I didn't see any violence, it was told to me like there was 64 cells, 128 people on a block, and then I was IA or IB, I think it was IA, but then IA and IB went to yard at the same time. So now we're talking about the potential of 250 plus people going out to yard. They empty out in that yard in approximately, I mean every move is less than 10 minutes.
okay.
So everybody files through a hallway, and it's called the gauntlet. Actually,
Running the gauntlet.
where two blocks met and into one hallway.
That's a high probability
If
area.
you have an issue,
That's the time to try to exert your.
yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be a minute before anybody gets to you. Stop.
You got 1 minute to exact as much violence as you can.
Pretty much.
Nice. With your fucking.
Steak boots, basically.
I bet you if I look it up, I'm sure Camp Hill has its own stats on
Camp
fights.
Hill had a
and-
riot.
Like riot, yeah, that's what I mean. I bet you it has it's plenty of its own
You're gonna read
stats.
some shit if you Google that. But
So where do they send you from there?
I went to a low security jail in the beginning because of my security level, if you will. Not being a violent or sexual offender keeps your security level kind of low, and you're not getting in any trouble, keeps your security level
Okay, so not like a max prison.
low. Yeah, no,
You're so bump it up. Let's project a little.
I don't do that.
We have to. You have to. The people.
I heard myself just fine when I reviewed the last one.
Because you were more prolific.
I don't think so.
Oh, he was so prolific. Anyway, so is it bigger than Camp Hill?
What?
The low security jail.
Well, see, the thing about it is I didn't get to go walk around.
You're just in
Hill.
one spot. They kept you in
Little
I.
Islands. I worked in the kitchen for a time and delivered meals to different blocks, actually, and so I was all over that jail.
Okay, so you got more of a free run.
Right,
Okay.
so
So you're a tray runner, fuck
I
going
can't imagine that Camp Hill is not much bigger.
because it's such it's a processing. Everybody's coming there.
Yeah.
All these people are protesting that Elmira jail and some other jail close to here. The workers are because they say they don't get paid enough and they get like spit on or something or punched or like something happens.
Something happens. I mean, when I went to Forest, there's plenty of stories of cops getting stabbed and their radios being thrown on the roof so they can't even call for help. And that was where they trained their gang unit. And I had suddenly asked myself, how did I get here?
How did you get there?
Well, it was on a bus. But it was just a...
Are you chained on the bus?
You're
In shackles?
You're more than chained and shackled. There's an invention called the box that you take your cuffs and you twist them, and then another device goes over your handcuffs so that you can't
Even access the.
the locks, and you can't move your wrist from this position, and that's shackled to you on your waist and your feet.
That's a tough one
It's not great.
for
Not
a couple
really.
hours.
Yeah.
Don't go to jail.
twice.
Well, that's what the comments in that Elmira thing were all about, because they're like, man, there's rats in there, or there's this and that. And I agree with both sides in a way. Like, I think people should be treated in a humanitarian, like, in a good way, like, in a way, but you're also in fucking jail. Like, I don't
hate that saying, if you don't like it, don't come to jail. Because nobody actually, it's like, you know what, I'm going to go to jail today.
Yeah, but I get it. Like, I know, like, for the things that I did to go to jail, I knew I could go to jail for them. Like, I knew the consequences if, like, something happened, and then something happened, and I went to jail.
I mean, I get it. I think there's probably very few ignorant people doing things out there that don't know that that's a jailable offense. So, I mean, if you don't like it, don't go to jail. Obviously, don't want to do the time, don't do the crime.
They don't understand, maybe some of them. You know that part where you're free, and then all of a sudden, like, you went to, like, the precinct, they decided it was a jailable offense, so they bring you out to the jail. And then you're just there. And you know it. Like, no matter what happens, you're there for a little bit. You know what or like when you get sentenced, you're like, okay, this is how much time. I hate that part where you're in a cell alone at one point, whether just sitting to get searched or where, even if you're near people and you're just like, man, nothing I can do right now. Like, I'm not free. You know what I mean? Like, you're not free. Like, you can't just be like, I'm good, I'm going to leave right now. I hate that feeling. I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to describe it or crystallize it because I'm stupid, but it's a fucking dread, yo. It, like, closes in on you and you're like, oh, wow, I'm really here now. And you think of all the, like, man, if I just didn't do, or I shouldn't have, why didn't I go out that, like, why did I get in that car an hour, 2-3 hours ago or whatever the fuck you just made the decision? And I don't know. Some people accept it rather quickly, though, too. I've seen, like, they just come in, they're like, hey, I'm going to sleep.
Once you've been intaked into double-digit times and whatnot, acceptance is much easier than the first couple times.
Dude, even doing that 2 years, man, even on the day before I got out, I'm still looking, like, I wonder if I can fucking wedge that open. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I just need to get out. Like, I hate the fact that they got me. And I think it's probably because I was beat and locked in rooms by a stepfather. And he's like my barometer for authority. Like I relate it to that Shawshank, like how that warden is, or how even the prison looks. It's an imposing authority that you're powerless against in that moment. Like, yeah, I couldn't beat my stepdad. I could, like, maybe as I'm older, like, how I conduct myself. Like, if I do find myself in prison, how do I accept? Do I look at it as I put myself in acceptance and fucking maybe use it to my benefit? Like, work out or fucking get a degree or fucking, you know what I mean? Like, not get into... Plenty of people go to jail, I'm sure, and get worse off than they were when they fucking got there.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch Blow, he talks about how it was just one big crime school.
That's what I mean. You could utilize it in different ways, I'm sure.
I mean, any experience can be utilized that way. You can... things better, make things
we mentioned
worse.
The other day talking, like, that movie, I don't know if y'all have seen it, I'm old as fuck, but it's called The Hurricane, and it's about this dude that was jailed, and he just did it different, you know what I mean, and eventually got freed, but that dude spent like a fucking 20 something years in jail or something for something he didn't do. That's fucking tough.
Yeah.
That, I think, I don't know, I always thought I would just, like, I can't accept it usually. Now I can. I think I used to be real against the courts and the law and shit. And there's plenty of things wrong with it. But if these things weren't in place, this world would be a fucking nut, like a nut world. And you've seen the breakdown of the law and the government over these last bunch of years. And just like in New York, no bail, no jail and shit. Like, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted in New York City for the last 4.5 years.
Well, bail reform was big. They changed a lot of stuff. You could get away with a lot of stuff and not go to jail. But I promise they get you in the end. You might not have went at first, because I'd never been anywhere outside of Pennsylvania until recently, and I ended up doing a little bit in Tioga County Jail, and I didn't go to jail at first. Of course, I also ran from the scene, which is actually only a summary citation.
In New York?
Traffic. Need the semen accent? Traffic violation.
That's crazy.
But they made me plead to a criminal mischief, which was a misdemeanor, so that I could get more time and not just have fines and whatnot. and make all the other things go away, which obviously wasn't great. But anyway, what was my point?
You didn't have to go to jail right away.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it wasn't terrible in the end because the other charges went away and they were only, citations anyway. But like, they still get you. You're going to jail just because you might end up not there that night.
Okay, so, I mean, that's good though.
I mean,
in the moment, it's
depends.
good.
It's good for maybe the person that did the crime,
Yes.
not necessarily the victim per se.
No, probably not. Not if it's a violent thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, don't. I remember. We were over at a house in Waverly, and this dude kept doing this crazy shit, and the cops had come a couple of times, and they're like, "Yeah, there's pretty much nothing we can do." And I was like, "So this person's like this small woman's supposed to stay here alone, and like what until this person walks in and like smashes their head in? Then you come in and like, yep." We can arrest them. Like, it just seems so crazy the way New York worked to me.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Very liberal.
Yeah. It's different, that's for sure.
I don't even know what New York's castle doctrine is on whether, like, what you're allowed to do to people if they come up into your shit. Like, that's why I got away with my attempted homicide in PA, because he attacked me in my own home. Like,
I don't remember, and I actually thought it was better than PA's, but I think the roles were reversed recently.
that's what, so, I used to stay up on it after everything I went through recently. I don't even look at politics anymore, really, Watson.
I want to say that in New York you have to retreat now. Don't quote me, but I know that there's different options. And number one is like you have to try to retreat, and if you can't retreat, you can't return more force than's being imposed upon.
That's part of it in PA, I remember, because during my trial they were like, you can't exert more force that's like being used against you. But then I was like, this dude's like 6 foot something, 200 something pound giant man. I don't have as much force as him, so I smashed him with a decanter.
Right.
That equalized it.
From what I understand, if it's a home invasion in Pennsylvania now, they're under the castle doctrine, and it's not about how much
They coming
force
in,
they're
you
bringing.
blast them right the fuck out.
I mean, like I said, I don't know the law. I just know.
Yeah, we're not fucking law. Don't take that as fucking doctrine. You might want to look that up before you
Legal
pump
advice.
in an intruder. I mean, honestly, if you got a family and shit, or you're worried about living, primarily do what you got to do and then deal with the ramifications later, I guess. But
Yeah, I'm going to prison for my entire life if somebody breaks in my house. Probably. Just because of my criminal history.
isn't that fucked up though?
I mean, given
There's definitely
depends on the
cases across the
circumstances.
country where people have broken into people's houses and the person who stopped them have been in trouble.
Sure.
There's a lot of public ones that happened in the last year where, like, say these people are acting real crazy and threatening on a subway, and then somebody's like, yo, fuck this, and like comes up and chokes them out or whatever. The one dude ended up going into like seizures and died, and they framed it up as like this dude like murdered a fucking homeless guy. It was a hate crime because it was like a young bull white dude that ended up like he was like threatening people on the fucking subway. Young bull comes up, puts him in a chokehold. The dude ended up like having a condition, and I'm not saying he should have died. I don't think that, but like the lady in Philadelphia got fucking raped for 5 stops until they got to the stop with the police while people filmed that shit. Human men were in that car that didn't fucking get up and grab this dude that raped a woman on the fucking set, like the L. And like, at what point do you just say, yo, I get what the law says and this, and this, but there's an atrocity happening in front of me and I'm going to do something about it. And a lot of people, I don't know if it's out of fear. I think it's, a lot of people are just pussies, kinda. And they don't care. And the callousness, like, if you're filming that shit while it's happening and you're not even stopping and you're like, oh my God, look at, like the young bulls that filmed the homeless dude drown. And you hear them laughing. Like, yo, look at that stupid motherfucker, can't even swim. Like, that's a callousness. That's not just being a pussy. That's also being like, oh, this, like, it's terrible. Like, I filmed that guy that was getting CPR. I also stopped traffic and helped direct traffic during that video, and the person, I was with somebody at that time and their mother actually was helping administer CPR. I was hoping that these people were going to pull this guy through and it was going to be like this really kind of like, oh my God, the guy made it. thank you to fucking the local people and the emergency staff that ran out of the hospital. I had to go because the people I was with were leaving. The people were there stabilizing, like whatever was happening. Like the professionals were there.
Right.
I got out of the way. I said, "Hey guys, I gotta go. I hope this guy makes it." I mean, da 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 da. He ended up passing away. He was very much liked and beloved in this town. I have nothing against the dude. As soon as I found out he passed, I immediately took the video down. I apologized publicly after that. People still kind of hate my guts for it. Maybe I deserve it. That's fine. But I had a point. I forget what it was. I wasn't trying to be callous by doing that.
Right.
I wasn't laughing about it. I wasn't just exploiting it. Like, I filmed my whole life. Like, I'm filming this. Like, I filmed me with things about my own family and the loss or being in the shack. Like, I film all the time. And I'm sorry, on a global way, like, if you go on X or something, you see that shit all the time. Like, people film things.
Yeah.
I think my point is that I think it matters in which way you film it and what reverence or lack thereof you have.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Your attitude, your demeanor, the light. It's not the physical light, but you know what I mean. The light in which you're talking about it.
And there's definitely a part of me that's a piece of shit that goes like, this is going to be seen by a lot of people. But even though I have that piece of shit in me, like that's going to be a lot of views or whatever, I also know that I should probably try to at least present it honestly or in a certain way because I get that kind of exposure for that. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't, like...
Yeah, but even if it's seen by a lot of people, you're not monetized.
I am not monetized.
So, like, although you might like the numbers, like, it doesn't mean anything.
It does mean it that now, I wouldn't say influence in any way. I don't think people are influenced by me. I'm a piece of shit. But I do put things out there that will be seen, and I don't want to perpetuate more garbage or just bad things, you know what I mean? So, in that way, like, if I only got seen by 2 people, it really wouldn't matter what the fuck, I mean, but if you're getting, like, again, like, 69,000 in 4 days, that, I mean, like, what happens if in that video I was just, like, being a real piece of shit or talking, I mean, it'd be, like, I was in the dollar store tonight, Watson, over in Waverly, the Dollar General, and there was 3 little kids, a little girl and 2 boys, whatever they are when they're about this height. And the curses that they were using in front of the parent that like didn't say a word and like just it was like Lord of the Flies, like they were running around grabbing stuff and they weren't like juvenile, like they knew how to say yeah motherfucker and like a bunch of other curse words like holy shit and like laughing and running all around like nutcases. And I just apparently like I'm out of the loop, Watson. I used to be in the loop. I'm out of it. Apparently now, like kids this age just curse fluently in front of people in public, and it's just cool.
It depends on the parents.
When I seen it in my head, I go, once I see it, I know it's probably widespread. Like that's not the only example of it.
Well, I mean, for real, there's really like 3 basic types of parents. There's the parents that don't swear in front of their kids. There's parents that swear in front of the kids, but the kids aren't allowed to swear. And then there's the parents that swear in front of their kids and they don't care if the kids swear. I mean, maybe
I'm the
that's
middle of the
crappy.
road guy.
I am too, and you know what? That backfired pretty good. I'd say
Yeah.
that I mean, I know I've witnessed my 2 biological oldest, they have a mouth as bad or worse than me. And I've eased up a lot on the profanity use per se, but if you witness my son playing video games, you will get a hint or a little view of what I used to be like a lot, especially if I lost my temper or I was using.
These are habits. Like, I always, like, when I have this conversation with people, I'm a nutcase, and I believe that vulgarity lessens us. And it's a literal, like, it was named a curse word for a reason. You might as well be staining yourself every time you use it. One of them, whatever they are. The intent, especially, behind it. You know what I mean? And
I actually misquoted the quote that I share every once in a while about profanity, and I don't remember how I misquoted it before, but it's actually, ignorance is, or profanity is the ignorant man's way of communicating aggressively. I don't remember what I subbed in for ignorant before, but and that's the crazy part is like I wasn't ignorant. You're not ignorant. We're relatively intelligent beings. I don't know what scale I'm using for that, but we're not ignorant. We don't have to use profanity. We just choose to. And
it buttresses your statements, and it's a reinforcer. It really hits you when you're like, like, you fucking piece of, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's more aggressive.
Again, do we need to be more aggressive?
Sometimes.
Do we?
I don't know what happens if people are being aggressive with me.
Put them to sleep.
Just hit them in the face.
I mean, I'm not really condoning it, per se. But if they're being aggressive to me, without looking at the definition, is you're threatening me at this point. If you went beyond assertive and you're being aggressive, I have to wonder what's about to happen. And at this point in my life, if somebody's going to be aggressive with me, I'm probably going to err on the side of caution, and a rear naked choke.
Do you know Chael Sonnen?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the clip with him and Jorge? I think that's the guy's name. They're doing Ultimate Fighter somewhere. This dude hates his guts. He's running his mouth, and he's getting real aggressive. And he starts getting close, and so Chael puts his arm out and is telling, and starts getting like in a stance, and is like, I cannot let you get that close to me. If you cross it this 3 foot like arm's length distance, I'm just assuming. I mean, I'm assuming you're attacking me.
Right.
And as soon as he does, bang, it's on. And that's pretty much, I think, how you have to be now, especially in this crazy ass world. You don't know what the fuck these people are going to do.
Well, no. Please stop. I can't let you get close. Can you hear my?
When I worked in human services at a restraint facility, I don't remember the model that I was taught for self-defense and controlling and restraining, but the opening stance was when you were just about to, defend yourself from aggression or keep some kid safe or whatever, was one arm up, the other arm out. Keep them away and have a block up ready to go. But I mean, that quickly transitioned to different holds. But obviously there's no strikes involved, but that's a good position to be in, to block and strike. But as soon as you really want this, to say that you're in a defensive mode if you're on the streets or something like that, in my opinion, because now you're blocking and you've got your hands halfway to your target.
I don't usually do this, but we don't have much. I don't know. I've had Watson here a while, so I'm not going to keep him that much longer. But let's see. Just real quick, 30 seconds.
The time if you were ever in a fight with someone and they start just swinging at you, if you have good defense, you stand there with your hands up. You wait. You just wait. Let them swing. Let them swing. You wait. You wait. How long are you going to be able to do this?
Right. Not long.
Yeah. Just wait. And also you see a little of this. You're like, oh. Well, now you're tired. You don't really know how to fight. You just wanted to hit me. Because half the time if you were ever in a fight with someone and they start just swinging.
Very relevant.
So you guys just heard that. That's, in my experience, absolutely true. Especially now that I'm getting older too, and well, Watson said the one thing during that weight training was check your ego at the door. I'm able to kind of check my ego now. A lot of people out there, when I say things, they're like, this dude's nuts, or he thinks this, that. I'm actually being very humble and modest for this point in my life, where I'm going, I pretty much know my capabilities. I'm not overstating it. I'm not, acting to make a bigger show. I just let whatever kind of do the talking. But, if I'm not conditioned, just running for fucking 30 seconds is a bitch. Yeah, I mean, and I'm assuming for most people that are not, doing this shit every single day of their lives, once or twice a day, that's what I feel. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, one of my first memories is just going back to wrestling. I started in 9th grade, which is terrible time to start when everybody else started like before they were 9. For those 3 years, I was like reporting after school to get my ass handed to me for the 2 hours of practice, and that translated to how well did you breathe for the 6 minutes on the mat, 2-minute quarters, 2-minute periods. If you weren't conditioned, you weren't going the distance. The first time I ever had like any substantial like wins or anything to talk about was in a Tawana tournament. There was not that many people in my bracket, and I lost, and then I won against the guy that lost, or that beat the guy that beat me, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
I ended up having to wrestle the same guy that already whooped my butt for the championship, and we had to go into double overtime, and you're just not ready. Like, it doesn't really matter how hard you train to go that hard for that long, and it's a different kind of tired. You just wish that there was oxygen.
And I smoke, so that's a tough one. So yeah, that's a bitch for me. So I don't really like I don't run in the winter a lot. It hurts the shit out of my lungs. I'm a bitch. But as soon as this is warming up, that has to be introduced into my repertoire. Basically, I have to start running. It's like everyone tells me that. Like every person I listen to on this shit is saying, yo, you have to like go run up a hill, go find a fucking craggy hill.
They're not far. We used to do Pudgy Hills for track.
I always know the one right behind Flat Rock is good.
Yeah, Pudgy Hills is like straight up, across, down, back over.
Where is
straight
this?
Up. Well, it's not Pudgy's now, it's Howie's or whatever. Yeah. Once you get classified and you make it to your home jail, things open up for you. Like Smithfield was post COVID or during COVID, and you were locked up 23 hours and 40 minutes a day, 10-minute phone call, 10-minute shower.
God, being locked in fucking jail during COVID.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Did they make you get a vaccine?
They didn't make you do anything, but after 5 weeks of isolation in the county, and then 4 weeks of isolation in Smithfield, and then about 2 more weeks of isolation in Forest, I was moved to the not-vaccinated block. Which meant that I had about 45, 50 minutes of day room, and then 50 minutes of yard. And I was allowed to shower in the mornings. If you press the button, you pop your door, you're allowed to go out and take a shower. Whenever there's no like, you can't come out and take a shower time.
So you were treated differently.
Oh yeah, until I signed up and got the 2-stage Moderna vaccine.
Oh God, he's contaminated, folks. Oh my God.
I hear when the blue light comes and they flash the 3 lines.
Yeah, you're fucked. You got the fucking nano machines inside of you.
Something.
That's double claws. Anyway,
We'll
that's
find out.
so they vaccinated you
By choice.
under pressure.
I mean, yeah, it was either that you couldn't go to the library, you couldn't go to the main yard, you were not going to classes, you could not get a job, you could not have visits.
For nothing, for the flu.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
I was intent on not getting the vaccine and staying on that block
until they just fucking.
And then everything started stacking up, and I realized like I'm only gonna get about an hour and a half out every day, and that's if I go to the yard and the day room every time they call it. And they had it was like 6:30 in the morning, 2 days a week was our yard. So if I didn't go at 6:30 in the morning to yard,
You're
when
fucked.
It's still dark out. You don't get yard but 3 times
Yeah.
a week or something like that.
So you're
I don't
fucked.
remember the exact schedule, but yeah, it was.
So
not
it's
great.
press. You're pressured into getting it, or stay on this shitty ass fucking block with no privileges.
Pretty much right after I got the vaccination and whatnot, like somebody had made some type of massive movement and things started clearing up. I don't know if people contacted
Were there
me
masks
or
in
what.
jail?
Oh yeah.
Really? For the inmates?
Mhm.
That's crazy. Imagine being in fucking state prison and you gotta wear this fucking mask on your face. That's nuts.
in the county, it was big time.
Oh, Bradford County was doing it big time.
Like
when you came out of your cell, you wore them?
State not so much when I was there. I heard that they were big on it prior to me getting there, but the county was you were in trouble if you weren't wearing your mask, depending on the guard, and that's with anything.
Some of them were harder on it than not. Okay. Jeez Louise,
I used to still have my mask from the county. We pulled staples out of paperwork and took the square fabric mask and pinned up the two corners so it was like a triangle, like a bandana almost. Yeah, we were cool. Make the best of a terrible situation. We didn't care about the mask part of it per se, just trying to be different, I guess. They have weird masks.
Dude, that's
giving me N95s. They were literally fabric. You might as well have just walked around.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
You're already in jail where the air quality's not great.
Terrible.
Everybody's rebreathing anyway. Then you're rebreathing, double rebreathing with your own shit because you got the mask on.
Like in bacteria in the mask that you don't wash, that you have to have on all the time.
Do they give you a bunch or you got to keep yours one? Good. And if you don't, what? Like the handbook? Like you're in trouble, you pay for it, fucking something.
I mean, you could get more, and every once in a while, like if you're a kitchen or whatever, like you.
I'm like, look at this fucking
have
thing.
Access to disposable ones.
Pocket a couple masks.
It was you make it a game. Next thing you know, you're trying to see how many masks you got.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised they made people watch their grandparents die from the other side of fucking windows and shit during this, and you get like, not trying to be derogatory, but I mean, nobody really cares about prisoners. That's one thing, like that, what I was trying to talk about earlier, like when you hang up the phone with whoever you're talking to from jail, you know, they go back to a world, like a feed. Like this is a very active, engaging feed where we all have like choices and screens or walk outside. Like the aloneness or isolation that comes with when I used to hang up that phone with like Graham or something. And because now I've been on the other side, I've had calls from people in jail, and I know for a fact like what they're, and then the whole world's still here for me, and it's easy to forget about them even if I love them. I don't think, like Adam's in jail right now, I don't think about him a lot. I just mentioned jail and this, so I'm thinking about him, but he's been in for a while, and I don't think about that dude every single day. I miss him. I hope he's okay. I haven't talked to him in a while, but the world makes you forget even if you care. And
what's going on her?
Not like, I just remember that click, and it's like, man, you're just cut off from everything, and it's just back to this weird world that like the person on the phone, unless they've been there, has no real frame of reference. Like these guys in thermals sitting at a metal fucking table trading envelopes for card games and ramen soups and fucking steel and a bunch of cinder blocks that are all very grid-like, and like you move like moves like you're moving from here to, like a mechanisms almost, like up lock, yeah, get out, up food chat, up a nurse card or whatever, like very Pink Floyd, that video that goes with leave them kids alone, and they're in that freaking they're in that like mechanized kind of, they're going down the assembly line, they're turning into these mechanical type humans. Like it really, like even who is it, Brooks, fucking what do they call Brooks in Shawshank, I forget what it was, institutionalized.
Oh yeah,
he was institutionalized. That's the thing. When I talk about some of the people that raised me and they're okay with doing nickel and dime pieces, like they're going to a fucking, like, oh yeah, I went on a vacation to fucking Dallas for 5 years of my life, like.
Yeah, I'm 45. If I only got to do another nickel, I'm alright with that. I mean, I'm not signing up for it per se, but like.
Nah, that's the end of your life.
No.
He's so more optimistic than me. I'm even 2 years younger than Watson, and I think 50 is a death sentence.
I am.
Unless you're rich and have testosterone treatments and a cold plunge.
I've said that I've been in my prime at least 2 or 3 times in my life. And
he's fuck coming into it now, I bet.
I am not far from
I know it's coming down the road. I knew it.
If I gotta go do a nickel, I promise you, when I come out, I will be in my prime.
I did say, dude, I was just telling them that earlier. I was like, yo, if whatever happens and I had to do a 5-piece I'm coming out fucking ripped to the gills, fucking with a degree and like a physical monster. Like when in the hurricane, even we were talking about like when he's like, and I turned my body into a weapon that would eventually set me free or destroy any person that got in my way. He was dead serious. Like that. Like you could do a lot of work in 5 years, is all I'm saying, with nothing else to do.
I got before 2024 and 2025. These last 2 county bids I did. The most I've ever weighed in a healthy state was leaving prison the first time and leaving prison the second time. And I just gained 50 pounds in 7 months of county stay.
In both of them?
In both.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how much I weighed coming out of the first 4 month stint. But these last 3 months, I know I gained 20 pounds in 3 months.
And so you get out of county this time at what? $100?
190-ish.
190-ish.
I'd like to be 200 before the summer.
Stop going at it. Above 200.
Which is going to be difficult because I would like to cut some of the body fat that I picked up. It's not as important to me at this point. Per se.
So fat doesn't convert into muscle?
Absolutely not.
So when I'm working out, it's not, and I'm losing it here, I'm just burning it. It's not going from here up into here.
2 different things. And oddly enough, anything you eat can turn into fat, but nothing can your fat does not turn into muscle.
Huh.
Your muscle is protein, and if you don't eat protein, you will not gain muscle.
I got a giant tray of chicken legs that after this is done, I'm going to consume. And then I'm going to put it into my little machine and the app thing that I have when I weigh myself, and I'll see where I'm at calorically. I didn't do the no real 2 a day today, so I don't really. Well, you said just for the one I should be doing almost that calorically, 3,000.
In my opinion, but that's without any crunching.
I want to get to what I showed you earlier with that, like Asian dude, the dude with the tattoos that I like. When he said I'm 165, 67 pounds, I was like, that's basically my target. Like I wanted to go up 20 pounds from 144 pounds, which is basically what he's talking about. Now I don't know if I can get as cut or ripped or less body fat or whatever, but I wanted to weight. That was my target weight. And that seems doable. But not just fat. I don't want to just get big and massed. I want it to be like lean, like fucking muscle.
It's absolutely.
How are you going to do? What do you got? 90 days before the real spring, summer?
I don't know. I guess I need to tighten up on my goals in every aspect of my life at this point. Just getting out has been kind of a whirlwind for me mentally, and fighting, my consistent mental issues that I've had my entire life, whether it be crippling anxiety or the depression. I didn't make any appointment with my primary care, so I'm off my meds that I was taking while I was in the county, which I was thinking about not taking them while I was in there anyway, because I'm a little skeptical about them, and I've actually come to terms with like who I am. And I was talking to the therapist in there, and she said, I was telling her how, I'm having problems pushing myself to do anything, even anything I like, and let alone the things that I don't want to do. And she goes, well, that's life. You have to push yourself to do the things that you don't want to do, otherwise they don't get done. And you can't just only do them when you feel like it. You have to do them on a timeline, especially in the real world. So for whatever reason, that hit different coming out of her mouth. Like, you have to do the things that you don't want to do. And if you got goals, suddenly your mini goals or whatever it is that you got to do, like, those are now things that you want to do because they align with your goals. And you'd be surprised how many things you don't want to do are actually part of your goals now.
I mean, if it's foreign and alien to you, it's going to probably be uncomfortable. Even the thought, the first step, maybe even the initial step, while you're just getting, and then you find out. That's why I'm hammering home that shit I'm going to do it flat right. Like, I'm going to jump in this cold ass water because I don't want to do it. Because everything, and I don't think it's for my health. I don't have a cold plunge that I can use every day. It's not for benefits. It's literally just because my mind is going, no.
Can't we just get something and put it outside?
If I get a basin, I can, yes. And then you hack through the ice there all the time.
Yeah.
You get a cover and it makes it not freeze. I mean, most people have a thing in it and it keeps it at like, I forget what it is, like fucking 38 or something. I forget what it is, right above freezing, 40 or something, and you just get in it.
Same thing you put in like troughs.
Now, if I was doing that, now I would do it every day after workouts for recovery and the benefits I believe it gives you. This part, and it would be part mental, but the flat rock thing is just, man,
that water's gonna be cold.
it's gonna be freezing.
Because it's a moving body of water. It can be worse than freezing.
I'm not spending a long time in there. I'm going in, I'm going up to here, I'm dunking my head, and I'm gonna fucking don't listen to it right away and overcome it the same way I used to do it, because I did it in the tub a lot. I'd fill up my tub with the coldest water you could do, and that's not like flat rock right now or nothing, but it was a weird thing. Like, okay, you know Fight Club very well. Do you know the part? Do you know the part where he's like, you're off somewhere else right now, missing the greatest, when he's burning his hand because he's trying to go into his spirit cave that he learned in therapy or whatever. I learned that in that tub, I could either try to go somewhere else in my mind, like, okay, just get away from it, think about, I mean, like cerebral, or I could pay the fuck attention to it, and I could acknowledge every little crook where you get the coldest for, I don't know how it is for girls, but for guys, and it's woo, and you acknowledge you open yourself up to it in a way. You don't like clench, you just, I'm gonna really do it, and I'm here for it. Right. And for me, that was more rewarding. It was more like I was participatory in it in a way, and willing. Like I wasn't just like.
We have a basin.
Well.
I just thought about it.
So we need a basin.
We have one.
I would like to do cold plunges. If we get this done, I'll definitely film it. And it's just so much of the benefits. I believe a lot of the people I listen to, it seems like the robot agrees. And I have a lot of inflammation. And the older I get, I know that's a problem. Like between my joints, like that's a lot of the stuff I'm talking about with my elbow. That shit, from what the people said, like older people it does wonders. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's just science. I mean, contractive. You know what I mean? It's cold. It's going to shrink it.
We gotta go to our local farm store and get that thing that heats the water so it doesn't go freezing.
Maybe I'll stop at Agway. I have a bunch of fans at Agway that really love me. I know you got a lot of obligations. You got things that you got to start doing probably more regularly. I would like, again, to try to find, even if I got to wake up early and get it in the morning or something and get over there. And because he has the bench and stuff and different weights. I only have the dumbbells and a fucking kettlebell that I can barely swing around because it's 44 fucking pounds and it's a little too much for me, but I do it.
Actually, we need to go over technique and you'll realize that you've got it a lot better than you probably think you do.
I do the one where you are swinging it outward from you.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Right.
I also would like to try to do deadlifts over there with the fucking bar and shit.
Yeah, and last time we did back, I wanted to do shrugs and I just completely forgot about them.
The robot put that in there. It said dumbbell shrugs for me because I told it that's what I was working with, and it's.
This is not enough weight for you to shrug.
The 35s aren't?
No, absolutely not.
For a while it is. Why are you supposed to do less and more weight? Less rep?
I mean, unfortunately, I'm from the school of a lot more weight.
A lot more weight, less reps? It's telling me to increase my shit every week.
Sure. Reps or weight, 10%.
It had a whole chart. I thought you would be into it. It was about like shit you're talking about. Like, hey, if you can do this, then you need to either do this with the reps or do this with the weight. It was a whole fucking thing.
That's awesome.
And I got to get a measurer because if I measure apparently my neck and my waist, the robot can do a lot more information calculating about me.
Anthropometric measurements.
It even mentioned those little fucking Watson pinched me with these things once and told me I was fucking morbidly obese, and it mentioned them. They said get a cheap pair of like caliper. Yeah.
The calipers we used ran off the Jackson Pollock method, I believe. We took 3 different measurements of the tricep, umbilicus, and the chest, and yeah, that was.
That's not what this motherfucker did to me. He fucking pinched my fucking fat side hock one time. And he did one fat side hock pinch and was like, "You're morbidly obese." And I was like, "What?"
You blacked out some of that.
That's exactly what happened. It was a traumatic for me. I fucking went outside around back and fucking made myself puke. No, I did. And then I was so hungry I ate it afterwards. No, I didn't. God. I wasn't even fat then. That's what's so fucked up, yo.
But you had fat.
But I wasn't fat. I could do gauntlets, dude.
I'm not saying that you couldn't. The only thing, I was just starting out. I probably had it wrong. I probably, if I was too far on the side or I was, I don't remember the exact places now. Oh, one was the leg. Leg, tricep, and umbilicus, actually. But if you're out of place,
side hawk.
If you're on the side hawk, then you're probably getting an improper reading. And for me, it was always difficult. Like,
dude, I remember we're in that little office you had, dude. Yeah. Right? I can look at it and that fucking thing. Yo, that place was awesome. It was kind of cool. I used to come there after they shut down, and he was doing whatever, like clean it, whatever you guys did after work. And we do gauntlets where we do crazy like physical challenges, and it was like, I don't know, that was a cool spot because you had access to all that stuff. I never got into that hyperbolic time chamber thing they had though. Remember in the back?
I never did.
I don't even know what that thing was, but it was I forget what the fuck that was. It was like an iron
water massager type thing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was all tube.
Right. You didn't actually get wet though.
Oh, it was like a membrane and it engulfed you, and you probably looped. No, I'm just kidding.
I never got into that thing. Now that I think about it,
that's crazy.
It seemed like if you were gonna get massaged with water, you're getting wet, and if you weren't, it was weird.
What's your body fat goal? Do you have that, or you don't care about that?
If you're looking for exact numbers, I don't have it. I just know where I've been, where I'm at, and where I want to go.
You told me the robot told me I was 20% body fat.
Now.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's what the app said.
If you look it up, that's probably obese.
I know. That's why I was hoping it was wrong. So.
Then you told it it's wrong, and it's like, well, let me get your neck and your measurement.
Let's just double check it. See, I'm obese, dude, which is so weird because I've lost weight during these workouts.
You're not obese, obviously. And
this 3,000 calorie diet.
I don't believe that you're 20% either. And
the only way to find out is with the pinchers.
Well, again, if you're not doing it right, you're not going to get an accurate reading. Anthropometric measurements. I'm probably not even pronouncing it right anymore, but you can do it with measuring tape.
I'm doing it tonight. I'm going to grab a fucking tape measure right after this and find out how fat I am.
If you mean like a metal tape measure, it's going to be a little more difficult. You really want like a sewing.
The cloth ones.
Yeah. I mean,
tailor tape.
If you have like a shoestring that doesn't stretch or something like that.
Then I could measure the shoestring.
Or ribbon or something that doesn't stretch and also is super flexible. Not that you couldn't do it with a metal tape, but it just, if you're trying to not hit the obese category, you want something that actually flexes and that's gonna like.
And you want to be honest, right? You don't want to suck it up.
No, what? You want to be honest. If anything, you want to push it out. That way you can have a better goal when you know what I mean. You can suck it in the next time. Be like, I lost a bunch.
I don't want to push it out. No. It's really going away fast. Like, dude, that 2 months or whatever it was of stagnation in the fucking trailer, like, really fucked me up.
A sedentary lifestyle adds it on quick. I'll tell you what. I gained the 20 pounds. Easy peasy in about 2 months because the first month I was in this last time, I didn't do anything other than eat. And it wasn't like I had a lot of food.
The robot said it's still easier to fucking do the thing I'm trying to do with muscle, even if I'm chunky, than it is from skinny.
Well, you have energy to use to try to build the muscle. Fat burns as energy. That's our preferred source if we're not carving it up. Actually, it's our non-preferred source, which is why we store it. But
I hate that. And they store it right on your side hops.
Wherever you don't want it is where your body will store it.
That's the hardest thing for me too, is because I don't do a lot of core because I do all these other things. I feel like it's working my core.
Core as much as you want to. If you don't, diet is what makes the side hock go away. Not core. You can just sit up so the cows come home. But if you're not, you can't out train a bad diet.
Really?
Nope. They say, I've heard the saying, eat like a homeless person before. If you really want to lose weight, eat like a homeless person.
But you know me, that's counterproductive for my goals. I need to lose side hock while gaining weight in other places.
So you'll eat less total caloric value, but more protein.
Then why did it just up me to 3,000?
Because you're told that you were doing 2-a-days. And when you say 2-a-days, are you telling it like...
I tell it what I'm doing. It makes my plan.
Yeah.
I don't know if I stuck to it today, honestly. I did the thing I showed you. I did a lot of push-ups. I did regular curls. When you leave, I'm going to do something. That fucking straight barbell or straight bar, this,
The curls.
great for this and shit.
Yeah.
That's a keystone one, apparently. They were showing me these keystone exercise, that target, whatever. Some people are real separated because everyone agrees that the straight one's great. But some people say that the curly one's not as good.
The easy bar?
Yeah. Some people say it's great and you should be doing that one too. But some people don't like it. Your opinion?
I mean, if you have a wrist injury or something like that, then the straight bar might not be the best way to go. Variety is good. And if you have a straight bar and you can handle it, then don't worry about the easy curl bar. They have another bar that's not the easy curl bar, if you will, that looks like the W or whatever. The one that is, it's like an oval, and it's got neutral hand grips.
Okay,
so
yeah.
You can go over, under, neutral.
See, that's fancy.
It's fancy, but I mean, you get the same thing with dumbbells. You can go prone,
Okay, and just change your position.
Hammer, whatever.
He was saying mess around with grips and stuff because it's hitting different little aspects. And you'll feel it. He said the more I lift, the more I'll be feeling where I'm targeting as I'm doing it.
I need to get my life together and find like my collars. Well, in many aspects, but the collars
Right.
for the Olympic bar to hold the weights on so they're not sliding around. And I don't know if you remember, I used to have blue fat grips that go on barbells to increase your
The dumbbells.
the forearm size. And
I remember you had one on a dumbbell before.
Yeah.
It was like an
I
extra.
had two. You can put them on anything. You put that.
They were on the dumbbells the last time I remembered it.
They're not now. And if they are, I don't know where the dumbbells are.
They're not the same ones.
The ones at Jesse's house are not the same ones. I had all mine were like that.
These are yours.
He's got the rubberized ones. Yeah, but I had heavier ones too.
Oh, not at the house. I know there's a 20 over at the house that's just straight that I saw the one day,
Bro,
and I was like, is there another one of those?
Everything is everywhere.
All right, well, we're gonna cut it out. I hope everybody has a good night. Watson, thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely, brother.
I'm gonna piss myself. I gotta invent a contraption to where I can just kind of go.
I believe it's called a catheter.
Scott didn't know about the Wizinator that they used to advertise in like High Times back in the day. It's like a thing you put on that looks like a penis
Bro, I didn't tell you
that you pee with to pass drug tests.
the drug test that I have to take now for the county for the next 3 months. Like, I've been pissing in front of guys for a long time. Mirror in the front.
Yeah, it happens.
Mirror,
You pee in front of men.
mirror in the side. Dude in the back. Most of the time, not even.
Not paying, yeah, just doing his job.
And like, he'll probably check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that looks real. That checks out. This place, after you wash so you walk in, there's the waiting room, 2 seats in it. Apparently turnover rate's pretty good. You check in, the bathroom's right there. Guy comes out the door. We go in the bathroom. Like before, it was like he stood in the doorway. Now we go into the bathroom, the door shuts. You wash your hands. He hands you the container. You pull your shirt up, and you pull your pants down to your knees.
What?
Like, I'm checking in and I'm reading the instructions. They got a stick figure there with arrows and stuff, and I'm reading it and I'm like, yeah, this isn't what really happens. And then we go into the bathroom and he gives me
They have, wait a minute, they have a diagram of what the protocol is?
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah, we need a picture. Everyone needs a picture.
I'm like, that's not what really happens. I've done this my whole life.
It's dramatized.
That's not what this guy's going to have me do. And I wash my hands, and I turn around and grab the container, and I turn around, and he's like, all right, pull your shirt up above your belly button, right? So, thank God I'm wearing a button up that has the in the back, right? So there's the front and side mirrors still. But I pull up the front of my shirt, and he directs me to pull my pants down to my knees. And I'm like, wow, they're serious about this. You're not getting no whizzinator through this motherfucker, no.
So that's fucking... And then you pee in front of him?
I'm talking full frontal here, but just me and this guy in the bathroom.
Fuck?
We're going to have a real intimate relationship.
The whole time he watches?
Yeah. I'm going to say some weird stuff over the next 2.5 months. He's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
He's going to see me, and he's going to be more uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd have to talk the whole time. I'd be talking the whole time,
stuff. Like I said, I'm pretty okay with it, but this was a new level for me.
Dude, you have to go in at one time, don't say anything, but maintain eye contact the whole time.
I am going to somehow find a way to hold a lot of gas for at least one of these sessions. And just let it all rip.
It's a small room, sir. You might want to turn that fan on. I'm sorry.
And pull your pants down to your knees.
Describe this man for
down
me.
to my knees.
Was he like a same age man? An old man?
He's around my age. It's hard for me to gauge people's ages because if you got a full beard, you're automatically older than me.
Okay.
But
that's so crazy.
High schoolers with full beards,
so close. And he's watching the urine go out of your penis.
Right out the urethra.
Yeah, right out into a cup. I'd be like, well, you see, I don't got nothing.
Well, the funny thing was, I got out of the vehicle. I told my mom, I'm like, I don't even have to pee right now. So we go in there, and he hit me in the container, which is one of the smaller containers I've ever had to fill. And he says, make sure you get it up to the line right there. And I said, I'll see what I can do. And he's like, well, do you think that you can do it? And I'm like, well, I'm not really sure. And he's like, well, you're going to know better than me. And I'm like, well, that might be rightly so, but I just don't know if I got it. And he goes, well, before you start going, if we don't get it to the line, I'll have to drag you back in here and we'll have to do it again. There I am.
Mm-hmm.
Full frontal. Basically, at this point, wondering.
Oh, you're already naked?
Yeah, I'm holding it ready to go. I'm like, am I going to hit this line? And if not, we'll be. I'm thinking, I got 3 months of this anyway, but if we got to do this twice today, it is what it is.
Yeah, so good. I'd give it a shot.
I gave it a shot. I passed.
There you go.
Both ways. Got to pass the line.
Congratulations.
And
clean for drugs.
Drug-free.
Drug-free pee. Yo, yeah, see, I'm not doing none of this shit.
You are if you don't want to go back.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's what I mean.
No, I'll max out. What? Like, in jail, that's not what it... Dude, they just don't even want... They're like, oh, just
my
fucking...
problem with maxing out this time was, number one, I don't like jail. Number two...
Well, this is short.
It's short. This is the shortest bit I've had in 20 years. However, I have to do safe driving school. I have to do victim impact panel. I have to do 24 hours of community
Before they
service.
cut you loose?
Before they let me off parole. So I can max this out.
And
do my
still
6
have
months,
be
get
on...
out and still be on parole because I didn't complete my stuff.
And you don't control all that in there, and classes take so long. Like
None of it's offered in there. I have to pay for safe driving school and victim impact panel, and they're one's like every month, and the other one's like.
Okay, yeah, so they're not great. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And this is only 90 days out here. It should be no problem.
No,
and then you're fine. Unless you do something stupid, which I don't think he's going to do, because it's the fucking winter time anyway.
I don't know what that means, but it's not.
I shouldn't even be outside.
No.
Did you feel it out there? His whole yard's an ice rink. That's crazy. I seen the cops posted something too, like, don't even attempt to drive. It's a nice sheet out here or some shit. I was like, oh. Alright, guys. Well, I hope everybody has a good night. Don't go to jail. And definitely don't get on this Bradford County probation unless you just like full frontal with another man. if that's your thing, where and this is a new place?
Yeah, it's right by the Tawanda.
Because I was gonna say, Tawanda didn't do that. I used to go there for the one thing. I was only on probation here for like a month, but I had to go there before, and
It's like Aber Health or something like that.
yeah,
It's
what he's
right
describing
next to it.
didn't happen to me.
No,
All right, guys, see you later. Because I'm actually gonna piss myself.
it's actually like great.
You have to get this dude's name too. We'll start shouting him out in the video.